for the first 4 days, I mean, this is an hour and a half, so this will be really dialed back, but it's to get their legs under them, work our way in. Probably the only thing to note, Mosley is not here yet. He will be. He's excused. He will start on PUP when he arrives, and it's probably going to be a little bit longer than what we hoped for. And that's really predicated on the work that was going. He was progressing so fast, so we're going to put the brakes on a little bit. I don't want to say setback, but it's just a little bit. It'll be a little bit longer. So everybody else, we're doing pretty good. We're ready. Our guys are ready. They did a good job. I'd say great job on the conditioning test. Our weights were good. So, we look like we're ready. But this is day one.
Is that your only PUP, specifically, I guess, Levi?
Levi's going. He'll get some reps today. And we'll just progress Levi in as we go.
Dan, what kind of message do you...
Go ahead. I'll come right back to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. You guys brawl. Let's go.
What kind of message tone do you set and speak to the team about for this first day going in?
This one, really, I think it's just what I said. It's really the, look, let's stay off the ground. Let's work together. This is where you start the fundamentals without pads, but you're working on all those things. You're getting the scheme, and really that's kind of what this is about. This is until we put pads on, everything is about getting their legs under them. Is that am I answering the question that you want, or?
Is there any talk about expectation or focus?
No. I mean, everything I told them was about work. It's about the work. And I've said that from day one. It'll always be the same message. It's about work. That's what we do. You got to go earn your right every year. It doesn't matter what the players are, the coaches, expectations, where you were, where you're going. We got to work, man. And so this is day one of that.
So your last, year 1, year 2, how you going in year 3?
Yeah.
Just from a personal standpoint, like, you still had that level of excitement, or just talk about your mindset personally going into your third training camp?
Yeah, I'm excited as always. It's always going to be different. Just in regards to what you have, where you've been. That first year you're trying to figure out exactly who's who. I mean, you've got an idea when you watch the tape, but you're coming in. There's a lot of carryovers. There's the guys that you drafted. You got a new staff, and so you're just trying to see where you're at a little bit. Who's who can coach, who can play, who can, and that's on top of working with Brad and front office, all these things. And whereas now I've got a real good feeling and a handle of those things. I know where we're at. We got a great rapport. And now it's just another level of the players that you've brought in and where they fit. We know the guys that can play. We got a real good idea who those are, probably our core group, yet they have to prove it again. They've been told that. You can't just say you're going to be good and be good. You still got to show it. And then those other pieces, right? The new guys we've drafted, these free agents, where do they fit? Where's the chemistry? So it's exciting. This time of year is always exciting.
There's no talk of expectations, Dan. What does it do when a team has confidence, especially compared to 2 years ago, that they can compete for a division walking into training camp on day one?
Yeah, I mean, that always helps. But, I mean, I'd like to believe 2 years ago those guys thought they could go out and do something. You should always, as a competitor, think that you can go out and hold your own, But you're always going to have a little bit of a feel of, okay, here we are, especially the guys that have been here. You're year 3, you add a few pieces, you continue to grind. They believe in the message, they believe in the work. And so you're going to have a level of confidence. We just, as always, you got to be careful. If that's all you buy into is talk and everything else that you read, and you forget to work, then it's all for naught.
Mosley, is he not here for personal reasons or medical?
Medical.
So, okay. And then, can you expand on that?
Nope.
And then second, just over the next 6 weeks, I guess, what do you need to get accomplished to want to be where you need to be coming out of camp?
Yeah, well, really, I know that you're asking that to get out of camp, but I'm really more in the mode of, man, we're in a race to get ready for the Giants. I break it into those segments. You know, we need to really, in my opinion, identify who's who we can count on to an extent before we get to the Giants, because I'd like to have a real good feel of those guys, and now you're getting those guys to work together for the Giants, Jacksonville, which in turn is going to help you to get ready for Kansas City. So I feel like, man, we've got time, but we don't have time to waste. You know, we do have enough time, but we don't have time to waste. So, you know, we're in a race here, and so look, I think it's really about, you know, I bring it up again. It's chemistry. It's the communication. It's guys working together. You know, that back end working together. You know, the offensive line, the rapport, the receivers, and golf. You know, that's really what it is. You know, that'll always be what it is.
After evaluating everything that took place over the spring, what areas are you really confident the football team got better in?
In the spring?
After evaluating everything?
I mean, look, I thought everything that we needed to accomplish we did for what it was, but you know, I would say some of the situational work was good. You know, I thought specifically defensively, there's a number of things on the back end coverage-wise that you could see begin to take shape, which is good, and that was the first really phase of it, if you will. You know, I feel like we honed some things offensively that were good. And so really that's all you can do. And so we were able to kind of implement that. We got a little bit better, but I'll always say without pads, it's hard to really take this jump, you know, especially this time of year.
You're going to get your first look at Mims this week, but as you had those conversations with Brad leading into the acquisition, what got you excited about the player?
Well, he's a guy that's got tools, you know. He's a big receiver, and he's got speed, he's got length, and you know, kind of relative to hey, you're looking at what do you want to work with? It was, you know, he's got the ability, and let's see if we can do something. Let's see if change of scenery helps this guy. And so, you know, that it was just it's the traits, you know, and we know the kid will work. We've heard that. You know, he's got a level of toughness about him. So, you know, let's see where we can take it.
Dan, what excites you the most going into this camp? And conversely, what worries you the most going?
Excites me. Probably what always excites me, and that's just, I guess, just the brotherhood. You know, being around the guys and watching them sweat and grind and bleed and laugh and cry a little bit at times, just all of it, you know. Man, I really appreciate that about the game and about the guys. I mean, it takes a high level of commitment, sacrifice, and I think that's what makes it special, because when guys, if there are guys that don't quite get there or do that, they get weeded out in a hurry, you know, and it's not for everybody. And so I always appreciate that. I think as always, the thing that's going to worry you is the hype train. I mean, as with most coaches, you know, this thing is just taken off and it's out of control right now. And that's fine as long as we stay focused on the job at hand and the work. I just keep going back to that. We got to put the work in and earn it.
Which part of the hype train did you find out of control so far? Just the volume of it, or something somebody said that, like, I can't believe they're saying that about us?
I don't even want to get into it, Joe, because we'll go down this. We will go down this rabbit hole, and then it'll go to the next question, and then it'll be which article, and then which one is it, and you don't like the expectations of this, and I don't know. I like where we're at, and we're going to have enough firepower to bang away and compete. I do believe that. So I like that, but we got to work now.
All the projections placed on the team, how do you temper those expectations and all projections and keep them focused on what's in front of them?
No, I think just what I said. I think you keep the message consistent and you call it what it is. You say what it is, and it just goes back to the work. And when you see it not going that way, or we have some guys that are deviating a little bit, or they think they've arrived and they haven't, you call them out on it. And I think as long as we do that as coaches and players, as teammates, we'll be fine. I think that's what you have to do. But if we all just turn a blind eye and think that, all right, this is great. Everybody's saying we're this, so we will be this. That's not true.
Going off of the hype train a little bit, obviously this year you don't have all the cameras in your face with Hard Knocks and everything. So what do you anticipate that it will be like without having, all of that around you this year?
Yeah, believe it or not, it always feels that way right when it first happens, and then probably a week and a half in, you don't even realize they're there. Oddly enough, they just kind of blend in. So I don't think it'll really be any different necessarily. I think that I think we'll settle in nicely and do what we do and go to work and do what we do.
Chemistry, do you worry when you're fitting in, like there's some veteran free agents coming in, there's rookies, there's new backfield, running backs? How difficult could that be to integrate with a team that had a little bit of success on its own last year?
I mean, there's always going to be, just in itself, sometimes the guys meshing with each other and being on the same page is always going to be, there's always concern that it doesn't take place or it doesn't happen fast enough. But I think it's also, that's why you try to do your homework and get the right guys. You try to bring in the right players that have character. And I told the team, talent with character and chemistry can overcome adversity. And I believe that's what Brad and I have built here. We don't just have talent. We have talent that has chemistry now, or character. Now we have to build the chemistry. And if we do that, then we can overcome anything. So, now, that being said, speaking on that, of course you want the chemistry, and you bring guys in for a reason. You think they can produce, but I mean, we've built this roster in such a way that this is competition. I mean, it's competition. If somebody can't mesh and we can't get the chemistry and we can't, well, the next guy's got to be ready to go then. And, we've done that over a 2-year period here now. You do your best to acquire guys because of that, but that doesn't mean that's an automatic shoe-in to be your guy.
Competition front, you made a change in kicker. What did you see from the two guys you still have here during the spring that led you to believe that was the competition you wanted to see going forward?
Yeah, that was, look, it was hard to let Badgley go. That was tough. I got a lot of respect for Badge. And, but, we wanted to get another look at Patterson. We feel like they're very similar type players, Badgley and Patterson. And get a look at Patterson. We like Romo. He's kind of the wild card. He's got the big leg. There's a level of development to him that needs to take place. And so we just felt like between those two guys, let's get a look at it and let them compete against each other. And so that's why we did what we did. Okay.